Thank you for tuning in to the Keeping It Real with KC podcast, a no judgment zone podcast that covers lifestyle, entertainment, news, and sports. Even though KC doesn't watch sports, but these are minor details. By the way, he reads tarot cards too. Yes, I really mean it. He reads tarot cards too. And now, the host you've tuned in for, KC Phoenix.
Welcome back to the Keeping It Real with KC podcast. I, of course, am your host, KC Phoenix. And yeah, so I just decided to do this quick episode. I don't even know if it's going to be quick. What time is it? Okay. Yeah, it'll probably be 15, 20 minutes, something like that. But here I am. I'm trying to get comfortable in my chair. And I'm adjusting to the snow and ice going on today. Before I go any further, KIRWKC.com, main podcasting platform. This podcast is carried on Apple, Spotify, Google, iHeartRadio, Pandora, Overcast, Bullhorn, Amazon Music, Audible, and several other podcasting platforms. Please feel free to listen to this podcast on whatever platform is most convenient for you. KIRWKC on all the social media platforms. Let's go ahead and get into some of this. First of all, I want to say thank you to all of my listeners because the numbers have been through the roof. Like the numbers before I had taken all of that time off when I had moved from Los Angeles to Texas, the numbers had dropped a little bit, but people were still listening and the numbers were steady, which had, I'm still shocked about that to this day. I guess because I have so many episodes, but the pre-numbers before that, the numbers now are starting to match those again as of recently. And I want to say thank you for that. Thank you for taking time out of your day to listen to my podcast. I sincerely appreciate it. I told you one day I'm going to thank you guys in all the languages of all of the countries that listen to this podcast. I'm going to do that one day. It'll have to be like an audio only, which I'm doing this video right now, which if you have Spotify or if you have YouTube, you can do the video, but most people just listen to the podcast, which is totally cool. But I will more than likely do one day where I just thank all of you in different languages, like in Spanish, in Chinese, in Japanese, in... Who else listens to my podcast? My goodness. In French. So on and so forth. It's just like, you guys rock. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. So let me tell you, I woke up this morning and I did not want to get out of my bed. I really didn't. Because I'm not used to this weather. I have to adjust again to this. What's going on outside, and I'm not even going to bother, getting the clips of the ice and stuff because everyone's seen ice and snow. If you haven't, then I don't know what to tell you. But I haven't seen this type of stuff in over a decade. I haven't. I think it snowed in Los Angeles maybe like 3 times where I was at in 10 years. If that, maybe 2 times. And also I lived in the valley too for most of my time in Los Angeles. And even when I lived on the west side of LA, it wasn't that type of party. And that's what you pay for. People always wonder, like, why is it so expensive in Los Angeles? You're paying for the weather in Southern California. That's all it's about, is the weather. The sun shines in Los Angeles. But let's not talk about that. I did not think, it's like I'm prepared on other stuff when it comes to food and water and everything else. But how about I looked outside and I see all of this ice stacked on top of people's cars and snow and stuff. And I'm like, you know what? I don't have one of those snow thingies where you scrape. It's the thing for your windshield where you want to get it. Like, obviously you can do the defroster on your car, but there's I guess the scraper or something. I feel like there's another name for it. I just don't know what it is. And I'm like, I don't have one of those thingies. And also, I ordered my socks because, again, I don't have many winter clothes. So I ordered some thermal socks from Amazon back a few days ago. And I was like, okay, perfect. Because I've been keeping track of the weather report so I know when the temperature is about to dip, when it's about to go up, and all that stuff. And I was like, okay, let me order these socks now. They should arrive right before everything happens. Well, the socks were supposed to arrive yesterday, but the weather started acting funny yesterday. And one thing I've learned about Amazon is when it says, oh, to be delivered between 2 p.m. and 4 p.m., and then 4 p.m. is around, and then you go back, you refresh, and it's like, oh, well, it's going to be between 4 p.m. and 6 p.m. And I'm like, oh, here we go. That usually is the indicator that more than likely it will be delivered the next day. And sure enough, they kept on moving it up. It's out for delivery, but they kept on changing the delivery time. And then obviously 10 p.m. is the cutoff time. And I checked it at like 10 minutes after 10 last night, and it was saying still out for delivery to be delivered by 10 p.m. And I'm just like, I don't think they're coming. So yeah, I didn't get my thermal socks, but it's all good. I have my heater. And also I went to Home Depot. Let me tell you about that as well. That was an experience. I mentioned it in passing in one of my episodes a few days ago. I went to Home Depot on Monday, I believe it was. What's today? Thursday? Or it might have been Tuesday. And it was so crazy because something told me, it was like, hey, just in case something goes wacky with the electricity or whatever, you want to make sure that you have, heat, which obviously I have. I washed all of my comforters which I finished washing my comforters yesterday. And I'm about to wash some more stuff. But I was like, let me make sure all the comforters are washed. I still have my socks, blah, 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 blah. But I have a fireplace in my apartment or condo or whatever you want to call it. And I was like, let me get some firewood just in case. Because I don't have plans to use it because I don't like dealing with all of that stuff. However, if something goes left, you want to be prepared. So I'm at Home Depot, and this lady is so funny. I went to customer service because I didn't know what wood to get. I was in Home Depot. I was like, what wood? What wood should I buy? Because I had seen something on the Lowe's website, and then I read a review saying, oh, well, this wood burns fast. And I'm like, oh. And I didn't feel like doing the whole Nancy Drew research thing because, yes, I can go online and I can research like the best of them. That's why I have acquired a lot of the knowledge that I have. However, this was one of the moments where I decided to defer to someone else and lean on their expertise instead of me just digging into things and attempting to figure out what's what. So I'm at Home Depot and I'm like, hey, what is the best wood to buy? Because I want to buy some wood. And she wasn't that familiar with it, and she told me that she wasn't. So she called on the intercom for someone to come down and help me. And I was waiting and waiting and waiting. And it's like, wow, really? All these people walking around Home Depot? And she called again, and then she was talking to the other girl. She's like, he needs help trying to figure out what wood to buy outside. She said he could have chopped down his own tree by now and picked out the wood and went on. And finally, she was like, you know what? I'm just going to come out and help you. So she left her register and came outside with me. And her and I were talking. And she was like, I know that this is the most popular one that people usually buy, is what she was telling me. But she's like, don't get this one. She's like, that one's all messed over. She's like, let me get you one of these over here. And she was really, really helpful. You know what? I should have taken down her name. When I go back, because I'm going to have to go back to Home Depot for something. I'm going to have to do, what do you call it? Commendation for her. Because she was really, really helpful. And yeah, so we were outside just talking, and she was telling me that what happened last year, because I wasn't here last year when all of that stuff went down, where the storm came and then the power went out and everything was crazy. And she was telling me that she didn't have power for a week. And I was just like, woo. So yeah. And she was talking about, she wrote the president of Encore, which is the electricity company here, and all types of other stuff. And yeah, I'm sure a lot of people weren't happy then. But I got the wood for emergency purposes, and that's what it will be for. Because like I said, I'm not looking to light a fire and start making s'mores and doing all this other stuff. I'm not about that life. But yeah, I'm adjusting because I haven't seen this type of weather in over a decade. And it's different for me because now that it's here, I just feel like, you just remember when you were in school and you were waiting to see if they were about to cancel school because of the weather, and then they cancel and it's like, yes, I get to stay home type of thing. And now I'm just like, when I had looked outside, I'm like, why do I want to get back in my bed and stay there? Mind you, all of my work is from home. That's why I'm home like 95% of the time. My car hardly gets any mileage on it whatsoever. As a matter of fact, when I was at the dealership, they were like, you probably want to put some stuff in your oil, so because you don't drive your car that much, to keep the gunk from going around the engine or whatever. So I pay like $50 to do that, when I know I probably could have just went to AutoZone or O'Reilly or whatever and bought it for like $5. But I was just like, to expedite the process so I don't have to worry about it. Fine, go ahead and do whatever you said you were going to do, and did that. But yeah, I even though I work from home doing this podcast and then my regular job, I still kind of don't feel like working today. So yeah, I'm just like, I feel like a kid. I really do. Because I haven't seen this in over a decade. Over a decade. This doesn't happen in Los Angeles. So yeah, I just wanted to talk about it for a second. That's it. Like I said, I wasn't talking about anything. This is just me chit-chatting. As for the weekend, I don't know what I plan on doing. Is my heat coming on again? Oh no, that's something else. I think somebody's washing clothes or something, or using the garbage disposal. But yeah, for this weekend, I don't know what I'm doing for the episodes. I might do a sports episode. I was planning on doing a daily thought today, but I changed my mind at the last minute because of the snow and ice. And here comes the heat. Yeah, all right. But I changed my mind at the last minute because of the snow and ice. So I might do a daily thought over the weekend, or I might do a sports episode. I don't know. I had seen a news story that kind of made me raise an eyebrow. I might do that. So we'll see. As for tarot readings, I will probably do my goal, knock on wood. My goal is to do a reading for the full moon in Leo, which again, I believe is the 15th or the 17th of February. And then also I want to do a Valentine's Day reading. So that is the goal. I have to see how I'm feeling and what's going on and all of that other stuff. So, and I have like a gazillion tarot decks, and I kind of already have my decks picked out of what I want to use for the Valentine's Day reading, but I have tarot decks specifically for love readings. And I haven't done a love reading in forever. And I might even, I don't know, maybe I should just go ahead and do some love readings this weekend. And just do love readings for all the signs. And then whatever energy comes up. I have to see how I'm feeling. Because that takes a lot out of me. I actually have to reach out to one of my friends and say a quick hello to him. Because he had hit me up. And I was telling him, like, dude, I don't have the bandwidth right now. I'm drained. For those who don't know, the tarot readings are up. If you don't feel like scrolling through the episodes on my podcast, just go to my YouTube, and then you can go to the playlist, and it's the February 2022 Tarot Energy. Click on that playlist, find your sign, and then all of them are right there for all 12 signs. If you don't feel like scrolling through all my podcast episodes, because I know I have a lot, and it can be crazy at times. Because I think I'm close to like 800 podcast episodes now. So yeah, again, thank you to everyone for this. For the listens, the streams. I sincerely appreciate you more than you'll ever know. I am not going outside today. The weather is supposed to drop even lower tonight, which, you know, Jesus be a heater. But I'm just kind of like, whoo, boy, looking forward to it, for it to go back up, the temperature to go back up. Because the interesting thing has been, at least in this area, the temperature goes down, then it goes up, then it goes down, then it goes up, then it goes down, then it goes up. So it's supposed to go back up and then hit, I think, like the 60s or 70s again over by the time next week, the middle of next week gets here. So yeah, it's all good. And I really don't feel that winter will be long here. I feel like once February passes, it's going to be a wrap. And I don't know why I feel like it's going to start to get hot in April-ish. So yeah, like late March, April, I feel like it's going to get hot. Which I'm fine with that, because I don't get hot easily. Anyways, I'm babbling now. Let me go ahead and get going. KIRWKC.com, main podcasting platform. This podcast is carried on Apple, Spotify, Google, iHeartRadio, Pandora, Overcast, Bullhorn, Amazon Music, Audible, and several other podcasting platforms. Please feel free to listen to this podcast on whatever platform is most convenient for you. KIRWKC on all the social media platforms. Until next time, be blessed.